So, my friend, have you ever had something to say and then suddenly went silent? Have you ever stumbled through a conversation only to think later, well, that's what I should have said? Do you feel like there are times when your message gets completely lost in translation? Well, you are not alone. Get ready to uplevel your communication skills. My name is Kathy Riley. I am your host and communications expert with over 25 years in litigation and another 15 as an entrepreneur. Our goal here is to share tools, systems, techniques guaranteed to shift the way you communicate with others. From mastering the art of a tough conversation to cultivating a mindset that screams confidence, you're going to learn how to break those bad habits. And I'm super excited to share that we have a very, very special guest today. Miss, I should say, Dr. Roz. At the heart of everything, Elizabeth Rosner, affectionately known as Dr. Roz, does is the love revolution. This powerful, overarching movement is dedicated to transforming lives and communities by embracing the boundless power of love and nonviolence. Dr. Roz envisions a world where we're teaching 8 billion people to love 8 billion people, one heart at a time. Please welcome Dr. Roz. I am so excited you are here.
Thank you, Kathy. I am so delighted to be here. I love how the universe was like, oh, you're going to meet her in this group and in this group and in this group. And it's going to, really, it just demonstrates that interconnection and how excited I am to be with you. So thank you so much.
Oh, and it's funny you say that because, the world is a big place, but yet all of a sudden, we've known each other kind of on the outskirts for a while, and then we just kept getting connected in front of each other
Right,
and time again. And then I'm like,
right.
dude, with what you're got going on right now, you need to come on this show because everybody needs to hear about what you've got going on.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I am delighted to be here.
So let's talk about your underlying mission, 8 billion people to love 8 billion people one heart at a time. What's one thing we can do right now to move towards this goal?
The very first thing and the thing that you must do is decide today that that's how you're going to show up. Decide today that you will never look into the eyes of someone that you don't love. Every single person that you encounter, every heartbeat, every soul that you encounter, that they have dignity and they have worth and they are valuable. And you just start right there. And it's so easy. A lot of people make it so hard, Kathy. Like when you were talking about, these tough conversations and what if I'm not heard or what if I'm not seen? When you show up from a place of love, so much of what you're talking about is eliminated.
It is, and how important is self-love?
Oh, well, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And
Yeah.
so in leading with love, and then that's my coaching package and it's what I speak on. Love stands for letting others voluntarily evolve and letting ourselves
Oh.
voluntarily evolve. So it's meeting yourself, it's meeting others right where they are. And you say, I see you and you have dignity and you have worth. But yes, you have to make sure that there's that self-love and doing the self-care and all of the things that you need to do in order to show up from a place of love. I don't necessarily, well, I mean, I've known since I was 5. I don't know if you know what a shrinky dink is. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Well,
So when
remind.
I was 5 years old, I was at summer camp and I was given a shrinky dink. And it's like this 8.5 by 11 piece of plastic, and you can draw on it or write on it or do whatever. And then they put it in the oven and then it shrinks it down to like this size. And this is what I did at 5 years old. I wrote, God is love, love is God, to mom and dad and Catherine from Elizabeth. So I've known since I was 5 years old that love was a part of my story. But then the world came in and the world was like, oh, love is stupid and love is weak and love is mamby-pamby and you got to be independent. You got to do it on your own. And it's what Dr. King talks about, our rugged individualism, and what a myth that is. And so once I stopped compartmentalizing love, once I said, okay, wait, there's nobody out. There's nobody outside the tribe. Everybody is in, all 8 billion people. Really, my whole alignment, I mean, everything in my body is like in lockstep when I say 8 billion people loving 8 billion people.
That's so powerful. I mean, if we, and it starts with us, it really
Mhm.
does. You can't love someone else, honestly. I don't think, anyway, my humble opinion, unless we love ourselves.
That's right.
So stepping into, and this is, I talk about communication, okay, nonverbal communication. Communication is threefold, in my humble opinion. It's what we tell ourselves,
Hmm.
it's what we say to others, and it's
Hmm.
how we physically show up,
Hmm.
right? So it's complicated, but at the foundation of everything, it's what we tell ourselves.
Hmm.
How powerful could it be if every morning we were to look at the mirror and tell ourselves, I love you?
Yeah. 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 Because the message, I mean, yes, the message can't be, the expectation is, Kathy, that you go out and love all 8 billion people, but not love yourself. That's incongruent. So it has to start with you. It absolutely does. If you think about like a target, you're at the center, and then what goes out from that, and what goes out from that, and what goes out from that. I mean, that's the interconnection. But if your center is off, then none of that is working. So
Right.
it's
Oh,
that understanding of, how do I love myself?
one of the things that I often coach talk about is it's from, the NLP neurolinguistics, it's the humans. As humans, I believe, honestly believe that every human is doing the best they can with the information they have at the given time. So it stops, it slows the process of judgment. It slows the process of getting frustrated, because there's lots of people that we meet that you look at and you're like, it's really, really hard to love you right now. But but if you step into that mindset, is you're doing the best you can with what you know right at this minute, that how can you not look, it's like, bless you,
Yes.
you
And
know.
and not in that southern way where we say bless your heart, but we're really being kind of shady. No, but like in a true blessing kind of way. Well, what you're saying is truly letting others voluntarily evolve. So that's love. And also understanding, I think where people get sideways with me a little bit is they say, how can I love this person that is doing this behavior or is saying this thing or whatever? And I talk about that from a place of like. So while I believe that our mission is for 8 billion people to love 8 billion people, that doesn't mean that I'm asking everybody to like 8 billion people. Because there are things that are really harmful. There are things that shouldn't be ignored. However, it means that if you are in a contentious situation, that you start from the place of, again, that person has worth and value and dignity. So oftentimes what I'll hear, Kathy, is people will say, oh, Elizabeth, I absolutely love your mission. I think it's amazing. I'm all on board. I think that's fantastic. I just need you to know I can love 7.9 billion people, but those people, and oftentimes they do their hand like this, like it's out and over there, those people, I can never love those people, and I don't want those people to love me. And that's the polarization. That's the division. When you as a human have decided that somebody else is out, that somebody else is unworthy, then that's where all of that division starts. And then, particularly here in the US, we're taught to constantly divide, to constantly say, are you a D or are you an R? Did you grow up in the South or did you grow up in the North? We're just constantly asking people to distill down so that we know our tribes. When in actuality, it's, and according to Dr. King's philosophy of nonviolence, that we're all in the world house. that what happens to people in Israel and in Gaza and in Ukraine and in Russia is impacting Elizabeth and vice versa. And so I remember talking to somebody, and honestly, we've been in a lot of global conflicts, around the world. And I remember saying, I've been praying for the people of, and now I don't even remember which one it was. And this person stopped me, and she kind of did almost pat me on the head, bless your little heart. She said, "Oh, sweetie, no, that's not who we're aligned with. We're aligned with this other group." I said, "Yes, the United States is aligned with this other group. I am aligned with all 8 billion people. So I'm praying for both sides." And it was so
Yeah.
jarring to her. And she was really condescending. Like Elizabeth just doesn't get it. Okay.
And the reality, she doesn't get it.
I mean, not in an 8 billion people loving 8 billion people sense. No.
Well, and I think part of it is okay. So, communication, words matter. And oftentimes people think, okay, to love, like it's a romantic, like I need to love you. And I noticed if you go to your website, um, which you guys will get the link. Don't worry, we'll give you the link. You talk about your core values.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them I really was curious about, and we were just talking about, it's agape.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, okay, so everyone knows it's agape, interconnection, creativity, wellness, and wisdom. So that's the foundation
Mm-hmm.
of Dr. Roz and the Love Revolution. That is who she is. That's how she shows up. That
Mm-hmm.
is her 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us more about agape. What does that mean?
And let me say this too. So I have a business coach, and I did my 5 values for my business, and I have a personal life transformation coach, and we did the 5 values for Elizabeth. And then I realized that with some overlap that there were actually 7 values, and I did not like that I was showing up one way in business and one way. And so I said, we can't have that. And so it's the distillation of those aspects, which is you're exactly right, Kathy. Now today, 24/7, that's always how I show up in those spaces. And so when as entrepreneurs, because I imagine a great deal of your listening audience are entrepreneurs. And so when it is that we need to show up, and really whoever we are, whether we're employees or retired, whatever it is, to show up in alignment 24/7 is incredibly powerful. I mean, that's a really great way in terms of communication. So agape is there are 3, there are lots, but there are 3 Greek meanings of love. And eros, if you see eros, then that's the romantic type of love. If you see philia, like Philadelphia, that's the brotherly love. And that's a conditional love. That is, I love Kathy because Kathy and I are sisters and we're good friends, and we see each other in Colorado and we see each other in Dallas. And, if we ever ran into each other in an airport, we would just be loving on each other. That's the philia kind of love. But agape love is unconditional, 0 conditions. It's not that I love you because I know you. It's not that I love you because you like me or you're kind to me. It is simply, I love you because you're on the planet, period. And that's where the ease comes in. Because again, you never have to think about it. I give a leading with love talk at a lot of different organizations and spaces. And one time at the end, there were some questions, and one lady raised her hand and she said, I can't imagine. I mean, she was just like hunched over. She said, I just can't imagine how hard it is, Elizabeth, for you to carry all of that emotion. She's, again, like the more she's talking, she's just more hunched down. I just threw my shoulders back. I was like, it is so easy because it's not emotion. It's cognitive. It's a choice.
Yes.
It is a choice. The emotions come in, the eros and the philia and all that. Those are emotions because those are conditional. But it's a choice. So like if I go to like our grocery store, there's a grocery store that I don't go to very often. And I went through this person's line and their name seriously had 12 letters. And it was not something easily pronounceable by my, southernness. However, I said, thank you so much, blah, blah, and called her by name. And she whipped her head at me and she goes, I'm at the end of an 8-hour shift and you're the first person to call me by name and you pronounced it correctly. That's all it takes to see somebody, Kathy. That's all it takes to communicate is see somebody's name tag and attempt to use it in a, thank you type of conversation.
Oh, and at the end of the day, most of us humans, that's all we want to do is be seen.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
And we blow it up that we have to, especially right now, it's like, you've got to agree with me. And at the end of the day, we just want to be heard.
Right. Right. Now, one of the things that I will say, and for the people who are very clearly communicating, I want you to agree with me. In many opportunities, many times, they are inviting me to a debate. And I make a distinction between a discussion and a debate. So a discussion is I share my heart and I share my views and I let you know what's going on. I'd be delighted to hear what's going on with you. I hear you. I hold space. I might disagree with you 100%. I might disagree with you 90%, but I hear you and I hold space. A debate is I'm right and you're wrong. I know all the right answers. I'm smart. You're an idiot. And I will RSVP no thank you to every debate I'm invited to. So for the
Okay. Keep going. Don't let me stop you. This is so juicy.
So for the people who want to debate, I just say no thank you. So for the people who want to discuss, and this is the thing, this is where we are oftentimes in our polarization and our divisiveness, is people really just want to debate. They really do just want to say, look how smart I am and look what an idiot you are. And that's not for me. What happened recently, again, going back to this, I can love 7.9 billion. I was having a conversation with some girlfriends, and one girlfriend I've known since second grade, and one girlfriend I've known about 15 years. They knew each other. They were college sorority sisters. So that's how, so the one that I met in the second grade introduced me to this other one. And so the three of us get together. And so, we were having what I believe to be a discussion. And, one of them feels very strongly, about a particular global conflict and, is quite honestly, appalled at the number of children killed on one side and really doesn't care so much about the number of children killed on the other side because they deserve it. And so I thought we'd been having a discussion because there was, a lot of sharing and there's a lot of sisterhood here and a lot of love here. And so I shared about the 8 billion, well, I apparently inadvertently invited her to a debate. I didn't realize that I did. And I mean, she immediately started taking me down. And then the other one joined in and they both took me down. They both were like, I can't get on board with everybody having dignity. Nope. That is and the whole conversation just devolved. And I was like, we were having a discussion, in my mind, we were having a discussion. I didn't invite you to a debate. I just invited you to perhaps think about every human being allowed to live.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be a debate worthy topic, but they did. And when one did, then the other did. Okay, good.
Okay. So then what did you do? How did you navigate that?
Because I'm not interested in, I'm interested in planting the seeds. I'm not interested in where they land. I love them regardless. They made it abundantly clear they are not on board with my mission.
Yeah.
And
so did you just change the subject, go to something else and said, okay, we're done here.
Yeah. Because continuing the conversation would be me participating in a debate.
Okay. And do you say, I'm not going to participate in the debate? or do you just
Mm-mm.
change the topic?
Just
Like you don't
navigate it. Just navigate it out. Because if
navigate it.
I say I'm not going to participate in the debate, they would say it's not a debate. And so
Exactly.
like the whole point, like my whole point was to get them to see that all life has dignity. And really
Yeah.
they really disagreed and felt like that I was imposing that on them. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes it's sticky. We
Uh-huh.
have since had like 4 dinners since then. So it's not that we're not friends or we're not whatever. You know, there there are, a lot of people. I mean, it happens in a lot of different places, but there are a lot of people in the South who have very clear ideas of, if you have this much melanin in your skin tone, then you're less than if you have not that much, just based on skin tone. That's all, it has nothing to do with class or with education or, you know, religion. It literally is a DNA. And, and,
Yeah.
and, the minute you go one layer deep underneath the skin, we're all the same.
Crazy. Crazy. What would you say is one of the biggest challenges this movement is facing right now of getting a billion people, 8 billion people to love 8 billion people?
Well, a lot of it has to do with having common language of where to start. Because, like I was saying with my girlfriends, I mean, these are people. One of them, like I've said, I've known since second grade, and I'm 55 years old. And understanding that in her worldview, there are people that she is completely fine with being obliterated and murdered. That
Yeah.
she's okay with that. Okay, well then we need to, think about how we can lovingly say we're all interconnected, that we're not in silos, that we're not, and some of that is what I like to call this human algorithm, because we all believe, again, particularly here in the U.S., it was not until I encountered nonviolence that I ever even heard the term interconnected or interdependent.
Hmm.
I only knew you have got to be independent. You have got to do it on your own. You've got everything that you need within you. You don't need anybody else. And when you really start to think about interconnection and interdependence, then it completely changes your worldview. And then you're like, you know what? I did not build my car. I have a fashion designer whose birthday it is today. So shout out to Fly
Woohoo!
and June Marie Brand. So I have a fashion designer, but I didn't make my jacket. I
Right.
like there's all these different places where we're interconnected. I didn't do anything with Zoom or the interwebs or any of that, but yet here I am talking to you, you know? And so understanding that we're all interconnected, I think is probably the biggest obstacle.
Yeah. And no matter where we are personally or professionally, we are not in it alone. I
Right.
mean, oftentimes I'm a solopreneur. And when I started, I did feel like I was in it alone until I joined a community with a bunch of people who are in it alone. So next thing, there's a community of people who are doing it alone, but you're never alone. You
That's right.
never are. I'm a mother. I have one daughter, two in heaven, but one here. She's spoiled but not rotten. But she's not alone. We did the best we could with the information we had at any given time to
That's
make
right.
sure. We joked that she was raised by a pack of Shelties, right? So we always had dogs. We got her involved in school and projects and scouts and sports and things. So she always had some form of community. So I mean, yes, and we're involved in our church and everything else. You're no matter what, even on your darkest day, you are not alone.
Right. 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 And yet people feel more alone than ever. And so I was on a podcast the day after the Uvalde shooting, and it was a live, like a streamed live. And this host asked me, what could we have done? Is there something we could have done? And I said, absolutely. And the host was more asking, like, what could we have done the day before, or a couple of days before, to prevent this? And what I said was, from the time that alleged shooter, which I think now that person has been convicted, and or I think the person passed away, but from the time that alleged shooter is born, from the time every child is born, we put 100 people around them that say, I love you. I see you. You're amazing. You've got great talents. I am cheering for you. You're fabulous. You're not perfect. You might be spoiled, but you're not rotten. All of these messages, so that when they get to school and somebody is bullying them, well, you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid. Well, then that bounces off, because they're everything is full of all these other things, versus they go like completely like a dry little sponge. So the things that are coming in are all these negative messages, and those are the things that are sticking. And then it's just this constant, like, even you could see it with my girlfriends. When one turned and it became a debate about the love, then the other one joined in.
Yeah.
These are people who love God and who love me, and they still went after me because of love. So,
And our psychology, the way our brain works, on any given day, we can do 99 things right, one thing wrong. And guess what? Our brain, our emotions, everything focuses on. It's the
mhm,
thing that went wrong.
mhm.
So, going back to what you talked, it's a choice.
It is. It
It
is.
is absolutely a
It
choice
is.
what we think about, how we approach any person, any activity, any conversation, including our how we face ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a choice
Yeah. Yeah.
to go step into the positive versus the negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I love also about what you're saying is, the more positive that we give and that people receive, the easier it is for the negative to bounce off.
Yes, exactly. 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 Yes. So when you are rooted and grounded in hearing positive messages, and then you're also encouraged to go out and deliver positive messages, you're exactly right. Then when that other stuff comes in, now I mean, I have alcoholism in my family. My father passed away from, aspects of alcoholism at 57. I've got all those tendencies of the striving and all of that. And this loving myself has helped me rewrite those neural pathways. That doesn't mean that I don't receive those personal negative messages, but when I receive them, I just say, thank you for trying to keep me safe. And then, but there was a time, Kathy, that I would hear them and just, and everybody needs to kind of determine for themselves what are their metrics of success. I about a year and a half ago, because I have a really strong relationship with my higher power, and my higher power said, okay, your metrics of success every day are obedience, love, and connection. Were you obedient to me? Did you love yourself and others? Did you connect with others? And did you connect others with others? And I literally, Kathy, I write it down every day on my daily sheet. OLC. And I ask my higher power, out of 10, how did I do today? And to be perfectly honest, it's not that I'm perfect, but because I put that as that's my goal, then I get a 10 out of 10 on those every day when I set that. It's like when people say, well, how successful are you with debt-free degree? Like how many people have done it successfully? And I'm like, 100%. And they're like, what? If you set your goal that you will not say yes to a student loan, that you will love yourself enough to choose financial freedom, then that's what's going to happen. If you
Yeah.
fall into this algorithm of everybody has student loan debt, and that's the only way that you get into adulthood is that everybody has student loan debt, well, then that's what you're going to choose. So it all comes back to, again, choices. It's cognitive, it's not emotions.
Oh, so powerful. So powerful. What would you say, um, navigating personal relationships? Let's talk about personal relationships. What is like what are the common mistakes people make when it comes to showing up with love, and what can they do? Like what's a tool that our audience can have in their toolkit for navigating family and maybe some difficult people?
Well, the difficult people, they get to voluntarily evolve because I literally, this is not an exaggeration. I was taught implicitly and explicitly here in the South that the Civil War was about states' rights, not slavery. And when my son went through U.S. history, I said, Alexander, the Civil War was fought for states' rights, not slavery. I mean, I'm saying this to him. And he looked at me and he goes, the states' rights to do what, Mom? Huh. So I think one of the things, if we could, for your audience, if we could have, like when information comes in, if it doesn't match all of the paradigm, and what most people do, Kathy, is when that comes in and it doesn't match even one little aspect of the paradigm, boop, that's a stupid idea. Instead, when he said that, I was like, let me think about that. And that started a journey of unlearning and relearning, which led me to the Martin Luther King Center, finding them on Twitter, which led me to attending a 2-day orientation, which led a few months after that to Dr. Bernice King, the youngest child of Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King Jr., to ask me to be one of her training team.
Wow.
Because I did not have this fixed mindset that if it doesn't match everything in here, like how can I make this fit in? And if I can change, so can everybody else. And so understanding, letting others voluntarily evolve, letting ourselves voluntarily evolve, that really, really goes a long way. I remember when I first started dating my husband, we both have been married. This is our second marriage. And at the time that we were dating, he was still very close to his first mother-in-law. She was very, very sweet woman. And so one day I was here at this house where I live now. It was Mike's house. And she said, Mike is the sweetest guy on the planet. And I was thinking, yes, he certainly is. And she said, he will never put anything back in the same place twice. It drives me insane. And I cannot tell you, Kathy, it is probably sometimes once a week, sometimes once a month. But I hear her. I mean, we've been married 14 years. And I hear that because I remember, oh, yeah. The reason why I'm having to open up 6 drawers to find my little gadget is because he never puts things back twice. And the reason why I have to open 6 drawers is because my mister is putting away the dishes. Something that I don't have to do. And I was talking to a young newlywed and she was like, OMG, I am so sick of my husband with this ironing board and blah, blah, blah. And she did something kind of passive aggressive with the ironing board and the water and the blah, blah. She was just really frustrated that he wasn't putting it away correctly. And I said, you know what? At that time, I think we'd been married like 10 years. I was like, in 10 years of marriage, I have not one time emptied the garbage in our bathroom. Because I can always fit one more Q-tip in there or one more Kleenex in there. Like it is never too full. It is never overflowing. My husband's level of overflow, he reaches it much quicker than me. Now he could be really frustrated with me, Kathy, that I never empty the trash. I could be really frustrated with him that I can never find my gadgets because they're in 6 different drawers. I could also sit here and go, I have 6 drawers. There are a lot of people that have 6 drawers, and so it's like, how do you have these conversations with yourself to put yourself in a mindset so that you can hear the other person?
Yeah, not only 6 drawers, but you have gadgets.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I have a strawberry huller. That's what I was looking for the other day. My strawberry huller. Do you think I need it? I mean, like I can cut the stems out of the strawberries, but I wanted my strawberry huller.
It's at the end of the day, what I hear you saying, it's all about perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And we choose that. We give the power of our perspective to everybody else and we lose our power. Our personal power is our choice and our perspective.
Exactly. So, I've been married, hitting our anniversary here, 23 years. Been together almost 25. So I'm like, yeah,
Yay!
he still loves me. But the things that, when it comes to relationships, especially like that, what you thought originally was charming then becomes annoying, right? So it's like all that, but as you're navigating, the longer we're together, it's like, I'm anal retentive. I like my systems. There's a way to load the dishwasher. And this was a couple of years ago. I was just getting frustrated because he never loads it like I load it. Like, cups need to go here. I put the spoons by the spoons and the forks go by the forks and all of this. And for a while there, I was getting frustrated. And then it dawned on me. He's actually putting the dishes in the dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he's doing that, why am I, my daughter's doing it? Why am I getting mad? If I want to reorganize it, that's my perspective.
Right.
That's on me.
Right.
That's my choice.
Right.
It's
Right.
still going to get cleaned. I
Yeah.
just have, that's my, so, at the end of the day, why, at what point, what value do I gain by
Mhm.
getting frustrated?
Right.
And same thing with dealing with any human. They
Mhm.
have different perspectives. They have different ways of getting to the same place,
Mhm. But Kathy,
right?
don't you know these couples that it just seems like somewhere along the way, rather than kind of linking arms and getting curious, because those are the three C's when I'm talking about leading with love. It is a choice, it is curious, and it is collaborate. So when you're having a conflict, it's a choice to say I love you and I see you. Then I'm curious. Why are you coming from that perspective? Help me understand. And then let's link arms and let's address the issue together. But what happens is people see the issue and then they go, you caused the issue. So now all of a sudden, Kathy and I have an issue. So Kathy and I are not collaborating. We are not linking arms. We are not curious. We're in a power struggle. Versus if you take that pressure down and you go, okay, let's talk about the dishwasher. And your husband might say to you, dear, which is like when my dad said that to my mom, that was, dear, or sometimes it was dearest. You knew something was real going to come. Dear, is it possible, sweetie, that you've lost perspective that I've loaded the dishwasher, period? And my coach is Julie Miller Davis, which I know she's a great friend of yours.
Oh, love her.
She talks a lot about the 80-20 rule, and she tells this story, oftentimes in her talks and different things, because I was really frustrated with Mister because we had company coming and I, was doing stuff with work and he said, "Oh, sweetie, don't worry about it. I'll clean up." And I said, "Okay, great." I come out, the vacuum cleaner is right by the front door. The gloves that he's used to clean the bathroom, they're still on the bathroom counter. And there was one other thing. Like, I was just like, it's not clean. And then immediately the 80-20 rule popped in my head. And I was like, you know what? He just did 98% of it. All I have to do is put away the vacuum, put away the gloves. And you know what? That continues to be our story. I,
Yeah.
that's how, I mean, like for him, for me, it's not clean until the items are put away. For him, it's clean after he's done using the item. Like I don't need to vacuum anymore, therefore it's clean, sir. However, that's on me because that's
Yeah.
my perspective, right? So
No, 100%. It's funny because you talk about the conflict, and I um, do a lot of corporate training on this topic too. So, personally or professionally, when you're dealing with conflict, again, perspectives. Your idea of clean, what that looks like,
mhm.
is different than everybody else's. You're
Yeah,
the only one with that concept
right.
because you come to the table with your own ideas, experiences. Nobody else has that. So understanding that everybody else is coming to the table with their
That's
own,
exactly right.
back, and it's like you got to do you, and understanding we're we have different, we are not going to agree on this. We are not going to
Right.
think exactly the same on
Right.
this. No
Right.
matter what, we won't.
Right.
Even if we were like all, sisters from the same mister, born the same day, right?
Yeah.
We're triplets. We have that, we all still have different perspective on any given
Yes.
situation, and
Yes.
giving each other the grace to
That's right.
have that different perspective,
Hmm.
and then going, oh, okay, I may not agree with you
Hmm.
that this is clean.
Hmm.
This is how the dishwasher is. This is where the vacuum goes, but I what is in it for me to get upset right now?
Right. 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 And when you think about wealth, obviously a lot of people immediately they think about wealth, they think about money. Money's great. Love money. Money's energy. You know what true wealth is? Time.
Oh,
So when you spend your time frustrated that they didn't put away the vacuum or they didn't do the blah 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 blah, like you've just like literally wait, you've just literally like it's like setting money on fire when you do that. It's just like such a waste.
ah,
It is such a waste.
I love that perspective on that,
Yeah.
because there's so many people that waste energy in that state of conflict,
Yeah.
or where they are trying to convince somebody of something else, like this is the way you need to do this,
Hmm.
and this is, and instead of, okay,
Hmm.
you know, what did you call it? The difference between a discussion and a debate. Like,
Hmm.
this is a discussion. Let's just stay in the discussion mode
Hmm.
and move
Hmm.
forward. I love that. I love that. Okay. I could talk with you forever. Oh my gosh. This is so amazing. So I know the listeners here, they want to know more from you. They want to know how to get in touch with you. And I understand you have a little freebie, a little gift for our
I
audience. Please
do.
share.
I do. So if they go to my website, drroz.love, all of my pages end in .love / leading with love, then you get a little bit about my leading with love story and then an opportunity to schedule a complimentary session with me. So let's just have a one-on-one and let's just talk about how you can infuse more love into your life.
Now, is this personally or professionally, or
Well,
what do
as
they
we
get?
said earlier, it's that alignment. So however it is that they want to show up, however, we're all personal and professional 24/7, and so whatever that looks like, however, if they have specific questions about work, that's great, or if they have questions about their personal relationships or even with themselves, book recommendations, whatever, it just runs the gamut. So,
Oh, I love that. That's so fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little popcorn style question. So we're going to
okay.
get a little personal, have a little fun. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so would you say you are a morning or a night person?
Ooh, morning. I'm up at 5:30 every morning. Monday
5:30.
through
Do you
Friday.
like
Yeah.
Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
I love it. You find yourself more productive in the morning?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I find myself that I don't have a good day if I don't start my day with my morning routine. But I really don't. I mean, I can the productivity I can do that at any time of the day. If I've done my morning routine. If I've not done my morning routine, it's less so.
So what's your morning routine? Can you tell us?
I can. So I get up at 5:30 and I believe I have mentioned to y'all that my Mr. is the most amazing man on the planet. So Mr. gets up at 5 and he goes in and has his breakfast. He leaves for work. And so he takes his lunch with him. And when he makes his lunch, he makes my lunch, even though I work from home. And then he makes my breakfast. So when I wake up at 5:30, I have my drink sitting there and my breakfast. So it's either a smoothie or apple with peanut butter. I mean, it's not on a tray with silver or anything. However, when I wake up, my breakfast is sitting on my bedside table. So that's how I start every morning, which is beautiful. And then it's still we don't turn on the lamps, and so he crawls back in bed and we have prayer time and read devotionals. We do my dear friend Leith has recorded this morning message, so we listen to that. And then there's certain devotionals that we read, and then we do a Peloton meditation. And then he leaves about 10 after 6, and then I'm up ready for my day. So,
Oh, I love that. So good. Okay, switching gears. That is a fantastic morning routine, I
Thank
have to
you.
say.
Thank you.
I'm taking notes. I'm like, okay, what do I need to incorporate? All right. Would you say would you rather have something delicious that's sweet or salty?
Okay, so I will say my genetically, me and everyone in my family, we have like the normal people stomach, and then we all have this extra little side stomach that never gets full that you can always put sweets in. And I think the universe said, okay, Elizabeth, you at 55, really, I was about 53, you have eaten your lifetime allotment of sugar. You've already done it. And so now when you eat sugar, you're going to have a lot of inflammation. You're going to have a lot of heat episodes. It's just going to be insane. And so you probably should avoid refined sugar for the rest of your days. And then, okay. So given that, I will say salty. Prior to that, though, it was sugar all day long, every day.
Oh, well, as somebody who's 56 and understand I get you with the sugar, so I watch that myself because that instigates the hot flashes almost every time. Whoo, baby. Okay. So if you were to have a absolutely fantastic dinner, would it be at home or would it be out at a restaurant?
Out at a restaurant.
Out at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you wanted something comfort, like comfort, whether it be would it be a food or would it be a drink?
Um, hmm. Honestly, the breakfast that Mike brings every morning, that is such a comfort because one of my love languages, I have two. One is physical touch and the other is acts of service. And so the fact that he's made it and brought it to me and it's sitting there waiting on me, that is such it's like filling my love language cup. So
Oh, I love that. I love that. See, I like my hot tea. So every morning I have my hot tea and I'm like, oh.
yeah.
So that's comfort for me. All right. Switching gears again. Are you beach or mountains?
Ooh, I both. Both. I
Both?
love both. I love both. I lived at the beach for 14 years. I lived on a
Okay.
little island in Georgia for 14 years. And then I lived very close to the mountains for about that same amount of time. And about 3 years ago, I saw the Grand Canyon for the first time. And I decided that was the most majestic thing I'd ever seen. And so, yeah, all of God's majesty. It's all beautiful.
I love it. Um, if you're reading a book, is it paper or Kindle or electronic?
You know what? It's Audible. I
Audible.
do. Yes. Yeah. I set my goal that I'll read 104 books every year. And right now I think I'm like 18 books ahead of schedule and it's because of Audible. So I listen to it at 2.0 speed and I'm doing other things. Now this weekend I am having what I'm calling, well, a phone fast, not a media fast, but a phone fast. And so I will make sure to read like paper book and like I don't give myself the time and the permission to sit and read. So I think that's why I do so much Audible because I'm doing other things and I'm listening to, something. So really just take time to be present and so I'm trying to incorporate more of that in my life.
Oh, that's good. I think it's always important to be present. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have if you had a walk-on song, what would it be?
Oh, it's Aloe Black. Love is the answer. It's like a 70s song. Love is the answer. It's the answer. Yeah. But it's Aloe Black. Love is the answer.
And okay. Aloe, like
Aloe
aloe.
Blacc. Aloe Black. Love is the
Okay.
answer. Yeah. If you listen to it, it's very 70s. Love, love, love is the answer. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I truly appreciate your time here today and sharing your genius with everyone listening. You're just an absolute blessing, and the positivity you ooze is
Thank you.
just, it's contagious. It's
Thank you.
amazing.
I
And
hope
I
so.
just, I can't wait to give you a hug because I'm going to see you in about a month, aren't I?
Yes, yes, yes,
So in live and in person, we'll definitely
yes,
give you a big hug. So,
yes.
my friends, that is a wrap for today's episode of Breaking Bad Communication. Thank you again for being here and tuning in. But before we sign off, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like what you heard today and it resonates, feel free to share it, repost it, tag somebody so that they hear this message. Know this: the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication. So as you head back out into the world, remember every conversation is your chance to shape your life and the lives of others. So the better you communicate, the more your life aligns with what you truly want. So go on, get out there, own your voice, use your words, and make them count. Giddy up.